The dog smelled like rainwater and engine oil. That was the first thing people noticed. Not the scars. Not the military posture. Not even the way the massive Belgian Malinois sat perfectly still beneath the outdoor restaurant table despite the chaos of downtown Savannah, Georgia swirling around River Street during peak dinner hour. No, people smelled poverty first. Interesting society. Very predictable society. The upscale seafood restaurant overlooked the Savannah River beneath glowing lantern lights, while wealthy tourists filled the outdoor terrace laughing over wine and oysters, polished silverware, live jazz drifting from inside, designer clothing everywhere. And near the edge of the patio, one weathered Marine and a dirty-looking dog quietly sharing a basket of fries. Retired Marine Force Recon Operator Damian Cross leaned back calmly in his chair wearing faded jeans, an old field jacket, and combat boots still stained with travel dust. The dog beside him looked rough. Mud-caked fur, worn tactical collar, small tear across one ear. Interesting dog. Very disciplined dog. The Belgian Malinois rested beneath the table with calm amber eyes tracking every movement entering the restaurant patio. His name was Rook. Good dog. Very good awareness. A little girl walking past smiled softly toward the dog. Then her mother immediately pulled her away. Don't touch strays. There it is. Interesting judgment. Very shallow judgment. Damian ignored it. Used to it. The Marine quietly slid another fry beneath the table without looking down. Rook accepted it gently. Perfect control. Good dog. Then the restaurant manager arrived. And everything changed. Manager Trevor Hale moved across the outdoor terrace with the confidence of a man who confused expensive shoes with authority. Perfect hair. Pressed shirt. Artificial smile. Interesting man. Very polished man. The manager stopped beside Damian's table and stared openly at Rook. Disgust first. Recognition never came. Bad mistake. Very bad mistake. You can't sit here with a stray. Silence hit strangely hard. Several nearby diners looked over immediately. Interesting. Very public tone. Damian slowly looked up from his coffee. Excuse me? Trevor gestured dramatically toward the dog. This is a fine dining establishment. There it is. Class filtering again. Interesting pattern. Very familiar pattern. Rook didn't move. Didn't bark. Didn't even lift his head fully. The Belgian Malinois simply watched the manager calmly from beneath the table. Good dog. Very good restraint. Damian spoke quietly. He's cleaner than most people in this city. A few nearby diners laughed softly. Trevor's face tightened immediately. Interesting ego. Very fragile ego. The manager lowered his voice slightly. You're upsetting guests. Bad lie. Most guests looked more interested than upset. One older veteran near the patio railing narrowed his eyes toward Rook carefully. Interesting. Very interesting. Recognition beginning. Trevor pointed toward the street. There's a shelter 3 blocks away. Big mistake. Huge mistake. Rook's ears lifted instantly hearing the word shelter. Interesting reaction. Very emotional reaction. Damian's expression changed slightly for the first time. Not anger. Worse. Disappointment. Then he quietly asked, "You know what kind of dog this is?" Trevor rolled his eyes. "A dirty one." Wrong answer. Very wrong answer. The older veteran near the railing suddenly stood. Interesting timing. Very interesting timing. His eyes locked fully onto Rook now, then toward the faded tactical collar beneath the mud. Recognition hit instantly. Good Lord. The old veteran whispered softly. No way. Trevor ignored him completely. Instead he reached toward Rook's collar. Huge mistake. Massive mistake. Rook stood instantly. Fast. Silent. Perfectly controlled. The entire restaurant patio froze. Good dog. Very good reaction speed. The Belgian Malinois positioned himself directly between Damian and the manager with terrifying precision. Not growling. Not barking. Worse. Professional defensive posture. Interesting atmosphere shift. Very powerful atmosphere shift. Trevor stumbled backward immediately. Smart instinct. Very smart instinct. Then Damian slowly reached into his weather jacket pocket and pulled out a tarnished military medal attached to a folded black and gold ribbon. The outdoor restaurant went silent, because engraved beneath the medal was the dog's name. The metal hit the restaurant table softly, but the silence afterward landed like a grenade. Interesting thing about truth. Sometimes it arrived quietly before destroying everything. The Savannah riverfront patio remained frozen beneath glowing lantern lights while tourists, businessmen, and wealthy diners stared at the tarnished military medal resting beside Damien Cross's untouched coffee. And engraved beneath the ribbon, Rook, Unit K9-7. Operational Valor Commendation. Interesting dog. Very extraordinary dog. Trevor Hale blinked twice. Didn't understand yet. Bad sign. Very bad sign. The restaurant manager forced an awkward laugh. So what? You bought army tags online. Wrong sentence. Very wrong sentence. The older veteran near the patio railing stepped forward immediately. Shut your mouth. Interesting tone. Very serious tone. The patio turned toward him now. Gray beard. Old Navy windbreaker. Hands shaking slightly. Not fear. Rage. Real rage. The man stared directly at Rook. Then whispered almost reverently, "That dog pulled 3 Marines out of Fallujah." Boom. There it is. Interesting atmosphere shift. Very deserved atmosphere shift. Several diners physically straightened in their chairs now. Phones lowered. Conversations dead. Trevor looked confused. Still, interesting arrogance. Very dense arrogance. Damien calmly rotated the medal toward the manager. You called him a stray. Rook sat again beneath the table. Perfect discipline. Good dog. Very good control. Then Damien slowly pulled another item from his jacket pocket. A faded military photograph. The Marine placed it beside the medal carefully, and the entire patio leaned closer. Interesting. Very interesting. The photograph showed younger Damien in desert combat gear. Smoke behind ruined buildings. Wounded Marines being evacuated. Rook wearing full tactical harness beside them. And standing directly behind the image, a black armored convoy carrying the logo of Hale Security Logistics. Now that was interesting. Trevor noticed instantly. His face drained white. Interesting reaction. Very important reaction. Damien watched him carefully. You recognize the logo? Trevor said nothing. Bad answer. Very bad answer. The older veteran near the railing looked between them slowly. Then realization hit. Good Lord. Interesting. Very dangerous. Damien leaned back calmly. Your father's company supplied our convoy routes in Iraq. Silence swallowed the terrace. Trevor whispered weakly. What? Rook's eyes never left the manager. Good dog. Very good read. Damien's voice stayed flat. Your company sold falsified armored transport reports to military contractors. Boom. There it is. Interesting restaurant conversation. Very catastrophic restaurant conversation. Several diners immediately started recording with phones now. Smart. Very smart timing. Trevor panicked instantly. That's insane. Weak lie. Damien slid the photograph closer. The convoy carrying my unit was rerouted through an unsecured corridor because your company signed off on fake clearance reports. Interesting company. Very evil company. Then Damien pointed toward Rook. He found the explosives before we drove over them. Good Lord. The patio went dead silent again. Not uncomfortable silence now. Respect silence. The older veteran's eyes filled slightly. Interesting. Very emotional reaction. Trevor backed away slowly. You can't prove that. Wrong assumption. Very wrong, Marine. Damien almost smiled, then pulled one final object from his jacket pocket. A sealed military evidence envelope. And suddenly, Trevor looked genuinely terrified. The envelope carried federal markings. Interesting markings. Very dangerous markings. Trevor Hale stared at it like it might explode directly on the restaurant patio overlooking the Savannah River. Interesting fear. Very deserved fear. Rain drifted softly across the lantern-lit terrace while conversations throughout the restaurant completely stopped. Even the live jazz musicians inside paused awkwardly now. Because somehow, a dirty-looking dog beside a Marine had just turned dinner service into a military corruption hearing. Interesting night. Very expensive mistake. Damien rested one hand calmly on the sealed envelope. Rook stayed perfectly still beneath the table. Watching. Always watching. Good dog. Very good awareness. Trevor swallowed hard. What is that? Damien answered quietly. Evidence. Simple word. Heavy word. The manager tried forcing confidence back into his voice. You're threatening me? Wrong sentence. Very wrong understanding. Damien shook his head slowly. No. Then toward Rook. He hates threats. Interesting answer. Very true answer. Trevor's eyes flicked nervously toward the Belgian Malinois again. Smart instinct. Very smart instinct. Then the older veteran stepped closer toward the table. You were Force Recon? Damien nodded once. The man looked toward Rook. That dog's operational posture. Recognition again. Interesting. Very interesting. Not a pet. Never a pet. The old veteran looked sick suddenly. Hale Security supplied convoy routes near Fallujah in 08. Boom. There it is. More witnesses. Very bad for Trevor. The manager immediately snapped. My father's retired. Interesting deflection. Very revealing deflection. Not denial. Damien slowly opened the envelope. Inside sat copied military tribunal documents, transportation audits, casualty reports, and one highlighted page stamped. Fraudulent clearance authorization. Good Lord. One woman near the patio entrance whispered softly. Oh my God. Phones came up everywhere now. Recording openly. Trevor panicked instantly. You can't show classified documents publicly. Wrong sentence. Very wrong legal instinct. Because Damien immediately answered. They were declassified last month. There it is. Interesting timing. Very beautiful timing. Rook suddenly lifted his head sharply toward the restaurant interior. Alert. Interesting. Very interesting. The dog's posture changed instantly. Not focused on Trevor anymore. Focused deeper inside the restaurant. Good dog. Very good instincts. Then Damien noticed it too. A man inside the dining room near the back exit quietly speaking into an earpiece while watching the patio. Not restaurant staff. Too careful. Interesting. Very interesting. Trevor noticed Damien looking, then made a terrible mistake. He whispered, You should leave. Boom. There it is. Fear again. Real fear. The Marine's eyes narrowed instantly. Why? Trevor said nothing. Bad answer. Very bad answer. Then the mysterious man inside the restaurant started moving toward the patio exit quickly. Rook stood instantly. Good dog. Very good timing. The Belgian Malinois stepped directly beside Damien in full operational posture now. Not restaurant dog posture. Combat dog posture. The older veteran saw it immediately, then whispered softly. Someone followed him here? Interesting. Very dangerous. The approaching man reached inside his jacket. Huge mistake. Massive mistake. Rook exploded forward. The entire restaurant patio erupted into screams and overturned chairs as the retired combat K9 intercepted the man before his hand fully cleared the concealed weapon. And suddenly, everybody on River Street realized this was never about a stray dog at all. The patio exploded into chaos. Wine glasses shattered. Chairs flipped backward. Tourists screamed and scattered across the rain-slicked terrace overlooking the Savannah River. And in the center of it, Rook moved like memory itself. Fast. Precise. Terrifying. Good dog. Very good deployment. The Belgian Malinois slammed the armed man to the wooden patio floor before the weapon fully cleared his jacket. A suppressed pistol skidded beneath a nearby table. Interesting choice. Very professional choice. Not robbery. Not random violence. Cleanup. Interesting escalation. Very dangerous escalation. Damien Cross stood instantly while diners scrambled for cover behind overturned tables and patio heaters. The former Force Recon Marine didn't panic. Interesting thing about combat veterans. Their pulse often slowed when everybody else lost control. Trevor Hale backed against the restaurant wall, shaking visibly now. Good. Very good. The manager stared at the armed man pinned beneath Rook. Then whispered something stupid. I didn't know he'd come here. Boom. There it is. Interesting confession. Very bad confession. The older veteran near the railing immediately pointed toward Trevor. He knows him. Several diners turned phones directly toward the manager now. Smart. Very smart witnesses. The armed man struggled once beneath Rook. Huge mistake. The Belgian Malinois growled deeply enough to freeze the entire terrace again. Good dog. Very good restraint. Then Damien noticed something worse. The gunman wasn't reaching for the pistol anymore. He was reaching for an earpiece. Communication. Oh no. Interesting operation. Very coordinated operation. Damien kicked the earpiece away instantly. The gunman laughed weakly through rainwater and blood. Too late. Bad sentence. Very bad sentence. Trevor looked horrified now. Real fear. Interesting. Very revealing fear. Then the restaurant lights died. Every light along the patio vanished simultaneously. Bad. Very bad. Only the rain and distant Savannah streetlights illuminated the chaos now. Interesting timing. Very intentional timing. Emergency generators failed next. Then River Street itself lost power. Good lord. Entire district blackout. Interesting scale. Very expensive scale. The older veteran whispered softly. This wasn't about the restaurant. Correct. Very correct. Damien immediately understood. The public confrontation forced him into visibility. And somebody wanted the evidence envelope destroyed before those documents spread online. Interesting priorities. Very guilty priorities. Rook suddenly barked sharply toward the riverfront street below. Multiple vehicles arriving fast. Black SUVs. Oh no. The black SUVs rolled onto River Street without headlights. Interesting. Very professional. Rain hammered the Savannah waterfront while restaurant patrons crouched behind tables and shattered patio dividers beneath emergency darkness. Rook stood rigid beside Damien. Good dog. Very good awareness. The Belgian Malinois tracked every vehicle movement below the terrace automatically. Combat mode. Full combat mode. Interesting dog. Very extraordinary dog. Then the armed man pinned beneath Rook smiled weakly through the rain. Extraction team. Boom. There it is. Not random muscle. Professional retrieval unit. Interesting operation. Very dangerous operation. Trevor Hale looked physically sick now. The manager's voice shook badly. This wasn't supposed to happen publicly. Interesting sentence. Very revealing sentence. The older veteran near the railing snapped immediately. You knew. Trevor panicked. I thought they only wanted the documents. Wrong answer. Very wrong answer. Because people carrying suppressed weapons and blackout teams rarely stopped at paperwork. Interesting life lesson. Very expensive lesson. Damien looked toward the River Street staircase leading up to the restaurant terrace. For men already ascending. Coordinated movement. Close protection spacing. Military pacing. Former contractors maybe. Interesting posture. Very dangerous posture. Then Rook did something unexpected. The Belgian Malinois suddenly left the pinned gunman entirely and moved toward the evidence envelope still sitting on the rain-covered patio table. Protective. Good dog. Very good instincts. The dog positioned himself directly beside the envelope like he understood exactly what mattered. Interesting. Very interesting. The older veteran noticed too. Then whispered softly. He knows. Maybe. Maybe not. But military dogs recognized operational priority surprisingly well. Then Damien heard it. Not footsteps. Drone movement. Oh no. Interesting escalation. Very sophisticated escalation. A small surveillance drone hovered above the dark Savannah waterfront scanning the terrace below. Tracking. Searching. Good lord. This wasn't a local cleanup anymore. This was organized corporate containment. Then one terrified restaurant hostess whispered. Police aren't coming. Interesting. Very bad sign. Either delayed. Or bought. Trevor finally collapsed into a chair shaking. My father said the convoy reports disappeared years ago. There it is. The real fear. The documents weren't supposed to exist. Damien slowly looked toward him. Your father sold safe routes to military command while simultaneously selling convoy positions to insurgent middlemen. Silence crushed the terrace. Interesting company. Very evil company. Trevor stared blankly. No. Oh yes. Interesting denial. Very human denial. The armed retrieval men reached the top of the staircase now. The lead operator removed his hood slowly. Scarred face. Former military eyes. And immediately froze seeing Rook. Interesting. Very interesting. Recognition. The man whispered softly. K9-7. Good Lord. He knew the dog. Bad. Very bad. Rain poured harder across River Street. Interesting weather. Very cinematic weather. The retrieval team stopped halfway onto the restaurant terrace while the scarred operator stared directly at Rook beneath the emergency darkness. Recognition changed everything. Interesting. Very dangerous. The scarred man looked older now. Tired. Weathered. But his posture screamed former special operations. Then he quietly said, "I thought the dog died in Fallujah." Silence hit hard. The older veteran near the railing stared in confusion between them. Damien's expression darkened instantly. "You were there." Not a question. A fact. The scarred operator nodded once slowly. "There were 6 of us assigned perimeter overwatch." Interesting answer. Very careful answer. Not denial. Rook growled deeply now. The Belgian Malinois remembered him. Good dog. Very good memory. The operator noticed too, then almost smiled sadly. "He still hates me." Boom. There it is. Interesting history. Very ugly history. Trevor Hale looked completely lost now. What is happening? Nobody answered him. Because suddenly the real story mattered more than the manager's panic. The scarred operator stepped slightly closer into the rain. "Your convoy wasn't the original target." Oh no. Interesting sentence. Very dangerous sentence. Damien's eyes narrowed immediately. What? The operator looked toward the evidence envelope beside Rook. "Your team intercepted a weapons ledger moving through Fallujah." Interesting. Very interesting. Then the older veteran whispered softly. "Black market routing contracts." Good Lord. The convoy sabotage wasn't only insurance fraud. It connected directly to illegal weapons transport. International-level corruption. Interesting company. Very catastrophic company. Trevor physically staggered backward. "My father." The scarred operator cut him off immediately. "Your father didn't start it." Interesting. Very important distinction. Then his face hardened. "But he profited from it." There it is. Rain hammered the terrace harder now while emergency lights from distant police cruisers finally reflected faintly along the flooded Savannah streets below. Too late. Very too late. The scarred operator looked toward Damien carefully. "We came for the documents before federal investigators reached you." Damien almost laughed. "By sending armed men into a restaurant?" Fair point. Very fair point. The operator's expression darkened. "The people above us don't leave loose ends." Interesting wording. Above us. Plural. Still active. Still organized. Good Lord. Then Rook suddenly barked sharply toward the River Street rooftops across the intersection. Urgent. Different. The scarred operator spun instantly. Interesting reaction. Very trained reaction. Then everybody saw it. Red laser dots sliding across the terrace walls through the rain. Snipers. Oh no. Interesting escalation. Very catastrophic escalation. The retrieval team immediately dropped for cover. Not betrayal shock. Expected shock. Meaning they knew exactly who sent the snipers. Bad. Very bad. The scarred operator looked directly at Damien. Then said the last thing anyone expected. "Those documents were never the real evidence." Silence. Interesting. Very dangerous silence. The operator pointed toward Rook. "The dog is." Rain turned River Street into black glass. Sniper lasers cut across the restaurant terrace through the storm, while terrified diners hid behind overturned tables and shattered patio dividers overlooking the Savannah River. Interesting escalation. Very deadly escalation. Rook stood directly beside Damien Cross. Perfectly still. Good dog. Very good discipline. The Belgian Malinois tracked the rooftop sniper positions faster than the humans did. Tiny ear adjustments. Subtle head movements. Target acquisition. Interesting dog. Very extraordinary dog. The scarred retrieval operator dropped behind a concrete planter near the terrace stairs. "Move!" The first suppressed shot shattered the restaurant sign instantly. Glass exploded across the patio. People screamed again. Bad. Very bad. Trevor Hale collapsed behind the hostess station, shaking uncontrollably. Interesting transformation. Very deserved transformation. The arrogant restaurant manager finally understood something horrifying. This stopped being social embarrassment a long time ago. Now it was survival. Damien grabbed the evidence envelope while Rook barked sharply toward the left rooftop across River Street. The Marine looked immediately. There. Sniper silhouette near the old cotton warehouse sign. Good dog. Very good spot. The scarred operator cursed under his breath. They're cleaning everyone. Interesting. Very revealing. Even the retrieval team became expendable now. That meant only one thing. The conspiracy went higher than they realized. Interesting company. Very dangerous company. Then the older veteran near the railing shouted suddenly. The river access tunnel. Everybody turned. Interesting. Very interesting. The old man pointed beneath the restaurant terrace toward the historic Savannah flood tunnels connecting River Street storage basements to the waterfront loading docks. Good Lord. Escape route. Interesting city. Very useful city. Damien immediately understood. The underground tunnels bypassed sniper sightlines. But getting civilians there meant crossing exposed terrace stairs first. Bad. Very bad. Then Rook did something incredible. The Belgian Malinois stepped directly into open terrace view and barked violently toward the rooftop sniper positions. Not panic. Diversion. Good dog. Very good warrior. The sniper lasers shifted instantly toward him. Huge mistake. Because Damien moved simultaneously. The former Marine flipped a metal patio heater across the stairwell entrance, creating temporary cover, while civilians rushed toward the underground access door beneath the terrace. The retrieval operator stared at Rook almost in disbelief. He's still doing perimeter diversion. Of course he was. Interesting dog. Very loyal dog. The second sniper shot struck the wine rack behind the patio bar. Explosion of glass and alcohol. Fire started immediately. Oh no. Interesting complication. Very dangerous complication. Smoke mixed with rain across the terrace while diners scrambled toward the underground tunnel access. Trevor suddenly grabbed Damien's arm desperately. There's more evidence. Silence. Interesting. Very important silence. Damien's eyes narrowed instantly. What? The manager pointed toward the riverfront office tower 3 blocks away. Hale Logistics keeps physical archives underground. Boom. There it is. The real target. Not the envelope. The archive. Interesting family business. Very evil family business. Then the scarred operator looked toward Trevor in shock. You never told us about hard copies. Trevor screamed back. I didn't know. Interesting panic. Very genuine panic. Then Rook barked sharply again. Closer now. The rooftop snipers were repositioning. And somewhere beneath the rain-soaked streets of Savannah, a hidden archive containing years of military corruption still existed. The underground Savannah flood tunnels smelled like seawater, rust, and history. Interesting place. Very dangerous place. Emergency lanterns flickered across ancient brick corridors beneath River Street, while restaurant civilians moved deeper underground away from sniper fire above. Rainwater dripped steadily from the tunnel ceilings. Rook led the group. Good dog. Very good instincts. The Belgian Malinois moved confidently through the underground passages like he understood tactical escape routes better than maps. Maybe he did. Interesting dog. Very extraordinary dog. Damien stayed beside Trevor Hale while the scarred retrieval operator covered the rear tunnel entrance with a confiscated sidearm. Interesting alliance. Very temporary alliance. Nobody trusted anybody fully. Not yet. The older veteran from the restaurant limped beside them, breathing hard. Then quietly asked Damien, "What exactly did Rook find in Fallujah?" Silence settled heavily across the tunnel. Interesting memory. Very painful memory. Damien finally answered, "A buried weapons ledger." Simple words. Catastrophic meaning. Trevor listened pale-faced now while tunnel lights reflected across the flooded brick floor. Damien continued quietly, "The convoy route was designed to kill us before we reached it. Interesting operation. Very ugly operation." Then the scarred operator added softly, "But the dog found the explosives too early. Good dog. Very good instincts." Rook glanced backward briefly, hearing his name. Still alert. Still tracking movement. Always working. Then Damien revealed the real horror. The ledger linked Hale security transport routes to illegal weapons transfers through contractor corridors. Trevor physically stopped walking. Good Lord. Interesting family legacy. Very evil legacy. His voice cracked badly. My father sold weapons routes? The scarred operator answered immediately. He sold protected access. Boom. There it is. Corporate wording. Cleaner than murder. Still murder. Interesting business model. Very familiar business model. Then tunnel sirens echoed faintly above them from River Street. Police finally arriving. Too late. Way too late. Rook suddenly stopped moving. Interesting. Very interesting. The Belgian Malinois stared toward a steel maintenance door deeper inside the tunnel system. Alert posture. Different alert posture. Damien immediately noticed. What is it? Then Trevor whispered weakly. That tunnel leads beneath the Hale Logistics archives. There it is. Interesting destination. Very dangerous destination. The scarred operator cursed quietly. If they know we're heading there. Too late. They already did. Then everybody heard it. Footsteps. Multiple. Echoing through the flooded tunnels behind them. Oh no. Interesting pursuit. Very professional pursuit. Rook growled deeply now. The retrieval operator checked his weapon. Private containment teams. Trevor looked terrified. How many? Then laser sights appeared across the tunnel walls. Bad. Very bad. The underground chase finally reached the archive war. The Hale Logistics Underground Archive looked nothing like a corporate records room. Interesting. Very revealing. Massive steel vault doors lined the underground Savannah chamber beneath the waterfront office tower, while waterproof filing systems stretched across climate-controlled storage rooms hidden below the city. No ordinary accounting records. Military transport manifests. Contract routing approvals. Contractor payout ledgers. Good Lord. Interesting company. Very catastrophic company. Emergency backup lights flickered across the underground archive while Rook stood rigid beside the central vault corridor listening to the approaching containment teams moving through the flood tunnels behind them. Good dog. Very good awareness. Trevor Hale stared blankly at the storage systems. My father kept all of it. Interesting realization. Very painful realization. The scarred retrieval operator moved quickly toward the central archive console. Then stopped cold. Interesting. Very interesting. Automatic purge system. Oh no. The archives were rigged for destruction. Interesting company planning. Very guilty planning. Damien immediately understood. If the purge activated, years of evidence vanished forever. Then the tunnel gunfire started. Containment teams breached the flood corridor entrance. Bullets ripped through steel shelving while water exploded across the underground floor. Bad. Very bad. Rook launched instantly toward cover positions beside the vault entrance, barking violently. Not attacking. Positioning. Good dog. Very good tactical instincts. The retrieval operator returned fire while Trevor desperately searched the archive terminals trying to disable the purge countdown. 30 seconds remaining. Interesting timer. Very terrible timer. The older veteran from the restaurant crouched behind steel shelving, clutching the original evidence envelope tightly against his chest. Then he shouted, "Federal investigators are above us. Not fast enough." The purge system hit 20 seconds. Trevor's hands shook violently across the terminal controls. I can't stop it. Then Rook suddenly sprinted toward the far archive wall. Interesting. Very interesting. The Belgian Malinois clawed directly at a secondary electrical conduit hidden behind storage shelves. Damien's eyes widened instantly. Manual breaker. Good dog. Very good memory. The dog remembered emergency infrastructure layouts from military compound training. Good Lord. Damien fired twice toward the advancing containment team before diving toward the breaker housing beside Rook. 10 seconds. Bullets shredded filing cabinets around them. 5 seconds. Damien ripped the emergency breaker downward. Everything died. Total darkness swallowed the archive. Then silence. Interesting silence. Very beautiful silence. The purge stopped. Good. Very good. Moments later, federal tactical lights flooded the underground chamber from the upper stairwells above. FBI. Military investigators. Homeland Security. Interesting arrival. Very deserved arrival. The containment teams surrendered almost immediately. Too late. No escape. And standing calmly beside the untouched archive servers sat one mud-covered Belgian Malinois the restaurant manager once called a stray. Good dog. Very good warrior. 6 months later, Congressional investigations destroyed Hale Security logistics permanently. Military corruption, weapons routing, fraudulent convoy clearances, illegal contractor operations. The Fallujah convoy victims finally received public justice after nearly 2 decades. Good, very good. And sitting at the center of nearly every news broadcast appeared the image of a retired Marine beside a weathered Belgian Malinois on a rain-soaked Savannah restaurant patio. Interesting legacy. Very unforgettable legacy. Inside a newly opened Veterans Resource Center overlooking the Savannah River, Rook rested peacefully beneath Damien's chair, while young Marines listened quietly to the story of the combat dog, who exposed a corporate conspiracy by simply refusing to abandon his duty. Then one young recruit finally asked the question everybody always asked. What made him so special? Damien looked down at Rook. Interesting question. Very simple answer. The former Marine scratched gently behind the dog's scarred ear. He never forgot who he was protecting. Silence settled softly across the room. And outside, beyond the riverfront windows, Savannah glowed peacefully in the rain while the stray dog, who stopped an entire corporate empire, finally slept without needing to stand guard anymore.